Alrighty, so hello everyone. I know it has been a few weeks without videos. I don't know if this one is gonna come, it is gonna be the first one coming out or not. We were sick at home, everyone got COVID, and then I had people at work taking vacations, so my schedule got like really tight with everything, and I wasn't able to do much. So it has been like 3, almost 4 weeks, most likely, without content. I know I wanted to put stuff out, but I couldn't. I didn't have the time or like mind space for it. So this is something new that I haven't done before, and I don't know if this one is gonna come out before or after the monthly tournament report. I want to start doing like uh reports on the, what should I call it, the tournaments that I get in. Right now it's only the Wicross store one, but I wanted to do a report on that, and to go from there I want to just come out with the build that I used in the tournament. The first 2 or 3 rounds, if I'm not mistaken, I used still set one Musica diagram, but because I didn't have my cards yet. But then since you can change your deck, the last rounds I was able to use the full potential of set two diagram. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna stop talking about anything else, and I'm gonna start by going through the Elric deck. We're gonna start with this. So our center, it's just Musica, Musica 1, 2, and 3. It's what we have right now. Nothing more. I hope the camera catches it properly. We have live, we have everything. So then for the level 1 assists, I don't know if I should go. Yeah, let's go level by level. For the level 1 assists, as Madoka, there isn't much to go with. Just the float is just the best assist you can go with right here. You basically discard a card to draw 3. You're putting stuff in your trash for what you're gonna see next, and it's just like an overall good resource together. Like, you're just grabbing a lot of cards from your deck. You're getting 3 more cards in your hand. I know you discard one, but it's like you're filling your hand. You're going through the cards, looking for what you need. And with Musica, you can always bouncer with her once per game. You can always bouncer and get another draw. And for the Sangha level 1, I know a lot of people like to use the Lancer one, right? I'm not that person. I know the Lancer one might help you here. It can be really good. You can get like extra damage, and if you use, because once per game, you will be able to bounce it, do it twice, all of that. But I'm using Senga Swing. I'm liking to use both my level ones to like go around resources, using Madoka to get cards in your hand, using Swing to get cards in your ender from your trash. We are milling ourselves. We are discarding cards. So having Sangha there, a Swing there, just to help out with everything else. Just filling your ender if you really need to. I really like this option. I know Lancer might be able to get some more stuff in, but I really like to use Swing. I didn't got a really big reason right now to just ditch her. She helps a lot. I really like to use her. And then for the level 2s, we are going with Madoka Clap. It's another one of the standard Madoka assists that you use. So as soon as you pay 2 to grow, you down a target Signy, you can then discard 2 cards and down another one, and then pay 3 and down another one. Basically just a full like no attacks for the opponent. And then if you have a guard, you just go with that too, and that's it. I really like Clap. you sometimes just want to use once, just you want to use like 2 times, the effect 2 times. You might not want to discard 2 or might not want to pay 3 to down another one, so you can choose between those depending on your resources. With swing, we have a bit more enter. With float, we have a bit more hand. And with other options, other things that I used in the deck, we have more options to that. And then for Senga, I know people. Well, Senga has a few odd assists. So what I'm going with, I'm really liking this card, is Senga Parallel. You basically pay 1 to grow, and you can stop a lane, kinda. Sorry. You pay 1 to grow, and then you can choose a Signy from your ender zone and put it on the field, anywhere you want. So the enter abilities do not activate. That would be awesome, but they do not. And then you can pay a green into colorless to vanish a Signy on your opponent's field with 10k or more power. I like this to when I only need to stop like a lane or two. Like I like to use clap when I want to go like full board, down full board, or just don't have many resources because you can just basically pay 2, discard 2, and down 2 Signies. Senga comes in handy sometimes when I want to push. I feel like that's some of the places that I use her. Let's say I want to push next turn. I grower. I call something from my enter to the field. Let's say like you want a you have a Polaris there. You can basically just call a Polaris. Next turn you can just mill your opponent, or if you need a, let's say, landling, or you're going to see another option that I'm going to talk later about. But let's say, for example, Kyosumi, if you want a wall in the center, it's basically 12k that can go in the center, or you have some other options. But yeah, and then if they have like a big Signy, level 3 basically, you can just get rid of it. You pay 3 more, so it's basically 5 cost as Madoka, but Madoka is like 5 cost discard 2. Sanga is a 5 cost because you pay 1 to grow, and then you can get another enter from your enter zone into the field, and then pay 3 more to get rid of something. But it's the same as 5 and not 5 because you're bringing something back to your field, so you still have a body on your field. So these are the rigs that I use. And then for the pieces, of course, you want to use your salvage future. You're milling your opponent. You want to do it as much as you want. And sometimes, since we now have Polaris, you can use this to grab 3 things from your trash that you really need if you're milling yourself. And the other card that I've been using, this is like a really open slot. You can use you can use a lot of things. What I've been using, I might change this in the future. This is what I used, but I've been using tap down tap. Sometimes it really helps. Sometimes you don't get to use it at all. So it's a bit of an AV card. I'm just gonna grab something. So the other things that you might want to use here that I've tried out and I kind of liked it. I liked Azure Black Gaia. This is another piece that I've been like using and kind of enjoy it. But I didn't went with it this time around. Just I wanted to try out tap down tap for a little bit longer. So with tap down tap, you can basically, if you have no life cloth, you can basically just down your opponent's Signy or Elric, and you pay 2. You can pay 2 to down. Yeah, it's like a basic effect like Madoka. You pay 2 to grower and then down 1. But the best part is that you can down your opponent's Elric. If you have servants, doesn't really help. There was a game this month's tournament that I had to use step down tap and parallel just so I would not have to use Madoka, and then left this free, and I used this for a Signy instead. But yeah, so I like Azure Black Gaia because you can it makes your opponent discard 2 random cards. So it's basically you might be able to snipe a servant. It's random. It's fine. The other card that a lot of people use, I don't like this card that much because I believe it really depends a bit on what you're playing against, what your local game store like meta is, and that's Xenocluster. If you have a lot of Madokas or a lot of Lovets in your local game store, in your weekly tournaments, sure, this is fine. You will draw 3 if they make you discard, or get 3 enter if they kill your enter. I don't like it much, but yeah, the other option that I would probably go more for would be Azure Black Gaia. This one is more defensive. This one is more if you want to just go all in on attack. Something else you can use, which was what I was using like before this, like when I started playing, was Charm of the Blast Key, just to get more draw in, get more cards in your trash. You can even use this on your first turn, get 2 cards there, and then like instantly grow Sangha Swing and get those 2 on your enter. I don't like these are a few options. I might go with Azure Black Guy in the future. Not completely 100% sure if I'm gonna change it, but yeah, I've kind of been liking this a bit. Right, so let's get rid of these and go into our main deck. I'll put together later. So we are gonna start with the level 1s, and we're gonna take like the basic things out of Spark, like 4 servants. You want to use them, they can guard your opponent's Elric attacks. It's like it's just a really good card overall that you want to have. Then I'm using a few vanilla double colors. I'm using 2 green gas, so green and black, 1 blue and green, and a blue and black. You can run wherever you want here. I think what most people will probably run is 2 green gas, 2 imp. I put a water buffalo in just because I thought sometimes I wouldn't have enough blue or green to pay for effects, because I use let's say a few, but like we have our assists and then 1 or 2 cards that I need green on, and that's it. I wouldn't say it's like the best. You might even like, sure, go to imps. This is like a spot that you can run wherever you want. I like to have these for like more defensive options on the early game. If you start the game with these cards, you can just aura intercharge them if you really need to, because it's 2 different colors, or you can just call them to the field and you call them to the field and it's basically just a wall. The 5k, it doesn't die to the level 1 red card. Dies to the level 2, but whatever. I really like these, really like to use these in any of those ways. Then we are running 3 ball. This is not the best. Well, the best life burst. Every time I get a ball on my life burst, it's basically says, I don't know if camera will focus, focusing on the back, but it literally says you may pay a black and a colorless if you do target signal opponent field get minus 12k. I don't like to use my enter on this to be honest. I run ball for the enter ability to put the top 3 cards on your trash, just so you can have a bit more trash for your landlings, or you have trash for the level 1 Tsanga, or just to grab something from there. Like if you get an Mirage in your life burst, you can basically just grab something from the trash and put it on the field or in your hand. I kind of like that. I just feel like there are people that don't like. I know that there are people that don't like ball that much. I don't mind it because I really like the enter ability. I don't like the life burst ability though. And that's like -3 cards on your life burst that you don't want there. But I run it because I like the enter ability and I need it. I feel like I need it. Then something else. So this is a card that came out this set, and a lot of people might be using it. This is like a really nice card. It's basically a level 7k level 1. It's a 3k, it's Hassi, and as long as you have 4 or more cards in your hand, this you can get plus 4k. I run something else to compensate for this, but like sometimes you don't have the 4 cards in your hand. If you're playing against a discard deck, you will never have that. And but like you have your Madoka assist level 1 that you can draw cards, and you can double down on that. I have a spell that helps with that too, but let's say like I like this card. The life burst ability is not that bad. It's if you have 4 or more cards in your hand, vanish target upsign your opponent's field. You need to have the 4 cards, but you can instantly vanish something if you can maintain the 4 cards. I like this on the early turns, on the early game. If you're able to draw more later, it's gonna be a really nice card too. But I like to keep this as a 2-off. I don't have much space on the life burst with life bursts, but something that I use to compensate this is Camelopar, which is basically the same thing, but it is if you have 3 or more different classes among Signy in your enter zone, the Signy gets plus 4k. It doesn't have a life burst, it's basically a 7k level 1 anyways, and you can enter charge with your Sangha level 1. You will most likely have 3 different classes. We are running a lot of different classes. Just here on the table, you already have demons, you have primal tone, you have aquatic beast, cosmos, venom, aquatic beast, and demon. Well, these 2 don't count, but you already have like 5 different classes. So this one is pretty easy to pull off, and if you're always like having in mind your enter and looking at what you are using to pay for costs and not, you will probably have this always on. It's basically just always a 7k. So this is basically like a playset of level 1 7ks for walls. This one, I'm a bit iffy on it, but I don't have much space on anywhere. So I just like to play both of them because, like, let's say you're playing against a Madoka center, you can basically pull Camelopar off always. If you're playing against Lovet, you'll probably have space. You're gonna be pulling Hasi off. So those are the level 1s we have. Take the away. Touch the camera. Gotta fuck it up too much. Now let's go to level 2s. Level 2s are a bit basically the card that I like the most to run here is 3 Kyosumis. Basically, if it is on the center lane, it's 12k, another wall, early wall. And when it enters, you may rearrange the position of all Signies in your opponent's field. So you might use this to put something on the center. So your Muzica gives them -2k. It's just if they have a 2k, you basically play this, put the 2k in the center, and kill it instantly. It's just overall a nice card. It's an early wall as well. You can only use her in the center, but if you ever in your deck, you will probably just have in mind that you have it in your deck and leave the center open if you can, or just put on the center whatever you don't want next turn or something like that. So, and her life burst abilities and a charge one, and you can negate the next Signy attack. So it's a pretty nice life burst ability too. The other abilities are pretty good too. I like to use them very often. The other two level 2s I run 2 daggers. It's basically just if you have 15 or more cards in your trash, you give minus 5k if you down this, and if you down it, you can give minus 2k. You will the majority of the time just use this to get like to rise on a mirage on top. Like you play dagger, you use her effect, you give minus 2k or minus 5k to something, and then you rise on a mirage on top of it, and then attack with an mirage. This is basically a 10k combo, minus 10k combo. If you have 15 or more cards, this is a 13k combo, so you can kill basically anything unless you're playing against green. And then the other one, it's another, let's say, a wall. It's helium. When the Signy is vanished outside of battle, you can basically down an Elrig of your opponent, so they will most likely have to attack onto this and not use effects to vanish it, so you don't down their Elrigs. I kind of like this card. People sometimes just, if you put it on the field, they have to think a bit more. Have it in mind that you have this card in your deck. They don't know how many you're running, so even if they get rid of that one, you might have like a playset or two. I think the majority of people run two. I run two because I don't have much space. I don't want to run too many level 2s. I even thought about running like 4 heliums and no daggers, but daggers can be nice sometimes too, and we are milling ourselves anyway. Diagram is a bit is being played more right now, so they will be milling you anyways. If they don't like mill you at a time that you just lose a life cloth and have to like put everything back in your deck, you'll be able to do minus 5k with this. And then we're playing any mirages, like I said. So this is the level 2 lineup. I don't run too many level 2s. I don't like to run more than this. So yeah, those are level 2s. And then let's go to level 3s. We will start with what I've been talking the most about. We're running 3 Animirages. This is a card that you can rise on top of anything. If you have like a card on the field that you don't want anymore and you just want to get a level 3 down, you pay colorless and you give minus 8k, you rise this on top of anything. It doesn't need to be a black card, like it's just on top of another card on the field. And like pay 1 for minus 8k, you're basically using a Innervating Melody with a body, which is pretty nice. It's a 13k. It's pretty hard for stuff to get rid of it. And the life burst is pretty nice. It's add target Signy without a guardian from your trash to your hand or put it on your field. So you can basically negate an attack with this. If you, well, yeah, if you have this on your life burst, one Signy attacks, you have like another open slot, let's say. You flip this, you can grab something from your trash, put it on the center lane, or, well, in the lane, the other lane that is open. You negate that if it has more attack, of course. And the other fun thing with this is that you can use the other abilities of your Signies. So let's say I'm gonna talk about this one next. So if you have a landling on your trash, you can basically life burst this, put this onto the field, pay a black, and give minus 10 if minus 5k to anything on your opponent's field, or minus 10k if you have 20 cards or more in your trash. So the life possibility of this card is really good. If I wasn't running it for the 13k, minus 8k, and rise, the life burst is pretty nice too. This is like a really nice card overall. I feel like I can see myself running this card for a long time. I haven't looked too much into the future. I know on set 4 there are a lot of nice milling cards, but that's it. Then we're just gonna go to our team Signy, Landling. The team effect is whenever the Signy attacks, you can mill the top 5 cards of your deck or your opponent's deck. You choose. So if you need, I don't usually mill myself because I feel like I don't need it, and the base of the deck is basically milling our opponent to like get rid of their life cloth without activating life burst and all of that. So you're most likely just milling your opponent. I've seen people mill themselves if they see they need more, or if they don't want to mill you, something like that. But yeah, you're basically milling your opponent. And the other one is like pay 1 black, choose sign your opponent's field, give it minus 5k. If you have 20 or more cards in your trash, you give them minus 10k. Just like removal, 12k, you will be milling your opponent. It's just overall a nice card too. I'm running 4. I don't know if I will go down in number in the future, like to 3. But overall, it's a pretty nice card. You will be using it as one of your main milling cards. Then for the second milling card, you have Polaris. It's basically something that came out this set. I'm only running 2 because you have to down 2 rigs, place it on the field if you want her to attack. So what it says is when this Signy vanishes an opponent's Signy in battle, you put the top 10 cards of your opponent's deck into the trash. It's pretty nice. You don't need to be... So one thing that you had before with Diagram is that you sometimes don't have enough minuses to vanish everything on your opponent. So this came up to like help a lot in that, in the sense that you don't need to vanish everything your opponent has. You can basically attack into it and get your effects off. Just like milling 10 cards from your opponent is pretty big. You have to have in mind that at this point in the game, your opponent has been drawing, has been putting stuff into the trash, has been putting stuff into the ender, and their deck is getting lower. I was able to manage like 2 refreshes on your opponent in a game, but usually when you get your second refresh, your opponent doesn't have life cloth anymore. If you are able to do it like faster, sure, you might be able to like pick 2 life cloths anyways. This card helps a lot. Even when you refresh your opponent, you have to have in mind that even if you refresh them, there are a lot of cards that have been ender charging. If they've been drawing, putting stuff on the field, the deck is never gonna be 40 cards anymore. Sometimes it's 30, sometimes it's a bit less. And yeah, it's just, let's say it's an overall a nice card that helps the deck a lot, since you don't have to vanish everything with minuses every turn if you want to attack into stuff. And with this like helps a lot getting rid of your opponent's life cloth. The other card that I'm running a 2 of is Dark Energy. I could be running like 3 Dark Energy, 3 Landling. I don't run more Dark Energies because it's basically a 10k. It dies to that fire spell that basically if you're playing No Limit, I can't remember the name right now, but if you're playing No Limit with that spell, Deafening Inferno, you can basically give minus 10k to something. This dies pretty easily. If you're playing against Diagram, you are milling them, they're milling you. They will most likely have the 20 cards they need to pull off Landling minus 10k. This dies. And if you're playing against Diagram, and this is in your center, which you will have to have in mind, this shouldn't be in your center if you're playing a mirror match. This is basically an 8k. It's useful. You can pay a black to give minus 5k to Signy, and whenever the power of a Signy goes to 0, you might enter charge 1 once per turn. Those things are pretty nice. I'm running her because of that, but I'm only running 2 off. And then this, the last card of the level 3s, it's basically a filler spot. You can run anything you want here. If you want to like bump like Dark Energy or Polaris to 3, you can get rid of this. I'm running 2 Robin Hoods. Basically, if you want to, let's say, push for damage, if you don't really have much else, you can basically play this. If you have any other Signy on your field, you can down them, and then since you will not have any more Signy on the field, or if you only have this on field, you can play a green and a colorless to like put every single Signy on your opponent's field into their enter zone. This is a pretty nice card. It doesn't like, it might come in handy sometimes. It's not something that you're using every game. But this is one of the reasons that I'm running a bit more green on my enter, because you need for this and you need for the assist. You can basically run anything here. I run this because I like the card. I think it can help in some situations. This is like a really big open spot. You can run whatever you want here. If there is something that you find more interesting or that can help you more, you can get rid of this and put it here. Then for the rest of the things, which we only have spells left, we are running, of course, 3 Innervating Melodies. This is basically, if you're playing Diagram, it's a minus 8k to anything and you pay 1. And if this is in your life burst, you target an up Signy and it gets minus 15k, so it basically kills anything that's up. You pay 1 for minus 8k, like I said with Mirage. Mirage is basically this, but with a body. The life burst offer is really nice too. If you're not playing Diagram, this is basically a minus 6k, but we're playing the Diagram, so it's a minus 8k. It's just really helpful. Like, it's a card that you want to be running in this deck. This deck is minusing and milling your opponent, so it's basically something I feel like you should be running. You might not, but I really like to run this card. And then the other spell I'm running, this is probably something that you don't see that often, but it's Trouble. I put 2 Trouble in the deck, and it has been helping me a ton. Sometimes you don't have enough cards in your hand to do like a push or anything, and this just helps you. You pay 2, you draw 3, you have more cards in your hand, you can grab some pieces that you're missing, and the life burst is pretty good too. It's down up to 2 targets in your opponent's field. It's basically that level 2 blue vanilla 10k that everyone runs, that you down 2 and draw a card. That has a body, sure. I run Trouble because I like to draw the cards, and as I said, it helps. It might help Assy. It's not here to help Assy, but it might. It's here because I thought that I didn't have much draw, even though we have the level 2 assist. I know, you have the level 2 assist, it draws you a lot, all of that kind of shit. But I like to have this as a backup. It's another blue card to have in your enter. The life burst is pretty good, and you're drawing more cards if you really need to. It has saved me a few times, that's why it's still here. It saved me sometimes. So yeah, that's the deck. Let me just grab other things again. Let's just put the level 0s here because they're fun. Yeah, so this is basically my Diagram deck. It had a bit of test, a lot of tests, let's say. I've tested this a lot. I really like how the deck turned out and what I could do. You'll be seeing in the other video coming out before or after this one, I'm not sure, that I didn't do great, but as I said, the first 3 rounds I played with 2 to 3 rounds I played with set 1 Diagram. The rest I've played with this version, like the last 2 rounds, and this month I'm running this deck again. This might not be good to say because people might watch this and just come out and say, "I know you're full deck right now." But yeah, basically the pieces. That's the most annoying thing to know. But yeah, in the mirror match, I've been testing it out. I kind of like it. You have like the games go for longer in a mirror match, of course. Lie against Lion, I don't see much problem. Against No Limit, you have somewhat of a problem because that thing can just rush you. I don't like to play against No Limit, of course, but I've won a few games against No Limit. It's not like you lose every time on this tournament. Yeah, you'll see that on the next video or before this one, my matchups and what kind of happened. But yeah, this is the deck build that I've been running with Muzica Diagram. Hope everyone enjoyed. If there are any questions you might have, if there is something that you would do differently, anything that you feel like I'm running strange, I think I gave a pretty good explanation of everything I run. If I didn't, just ask down below. I'll answer down there as soon as I see the comment. And yeah, hope everyone enjoys. And I want to bring more deck profiles into here. Probably not like this and with like physical cards, but I've been testing some stuff online. I want to bring some of those decks that I've been trying out. So yeah, this is the first of many, I hope. And I hope I did a good job of explaining everything of what I run and why, and that everyone enjoyed. So don't forget to join our Discord channel if you want to be like, um, if you want to get a ping when I drop a video. It's gonna be there. I have a bot that does that for me. As soon as I drop something, the bot pings everyone that I uh, got something out. If you want to give any, let's say, if you think that I should be, uh, if there is anything, any type of video that you would like to see on the channel, just go there. Tell me what would you like to see. If there is a matchup that you would like me to try and play, I will have to test the deck a bit more, like what I will be playing if I'm not playing Diagram. This is the thing that I know how to play the most right now. And yeah, that's it. If there is anything you want to ask, just go in there. When you get more subscribers and everything, I might do a Q&A. That's just like just a fun thing to do. But if you have any proposals for content or anything, just go down there. Tell me what you'd like to see. And yeah, once again, just subscribe if you haven't. That will really help with the channel grow a bit more. And yeah, that's it. Hope everyone enjoyed. To the next one.